AFR On Demand is brought to you by Breck Golf. Try Beaver Creek today, just 20 minutes from downtown Baton Rouge in the Zachary area. They've got a PGA Tour driving range, a short game practice area, 30 to 40-yard practice shots. It's a great place to chip and putt and practice if you don't have time for a full round. Book your tee time today, golf.breck.org, golf.breck.org.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Raising Cane studio.
Let's ride! You can't handle the
Riot Radio Hour.
Let's do that again.
Guess who's back again?
I want some more.
The Riot Radio Hour.
Well, let's start the insanity. Giddy up.
With Matt Moscona and Ryan Theriot.
Let me find out you when spanks the hundred grand, spanks the hundred good.
Hour 3, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. It's AFR live from Don Juan Cigar Bar, presented by Pinhook Bourbon. I'm Matt Theriot's here. Musso, Paulie back in studio. Alondra Villarreal is producing on site. We appreciate y'all for hanging out with 1 hour to go before we send you off into your football weekend. Tigers, Aggies, Saints, Bucs. We got a lot to do. 15 minutes, we'll give you Saints Bucs preview. We'll give you LSU Texas A&M preview prediction at the bottom of this hour. We'll wrap it up with Ask Ryan, so a ton still to do. I was talking to Musso and Paul earlier today. Because you haven't been here the last 2 weeks. Nope. I was asking Paul, I was like, well, what do we do? What did you do with Terrio's picks? Like, what happened? Did he get just a no contest, or did he get zeros? And Paulie said he gave you an offer. What do you think about that?
Man, I think it sucks. Yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate, but, it kind of is what it is.
Paulie, do me a favor and flash that graphic up on the screen, if you would, of our records. Because the thing that Muse pointed out, actually, and appropriately, is that even with, 3 weeks where you've gotten an offer.
Right.
Your record, you're way below 500, obviously, wearing these zeros. But it's still not awful. I mean, you're at 31-46, and you've had 3 offer weekends. You know what I mean? So you've got, and I don't know. We only did 8 games last week. I don't know why we only did 8 games. And they told me the week before I did 9 games. We always do 10. I don't know. Last week was manic at Friends in Low Places bars. That maybe explains it. But in any event. So
you're saying there's a chance?
No, what I'm telling you is, but for your offers, you'd actually be crushed. So you're at 31-46. So you've taken an 0-8, an 0-9. That's 17, and I think you had an 0-10 earlier. So it's 27. You've 27 of your 46 losses were during offer weeks.
Yeah.
So it's not to say that you would have won all 27, but you wouldn't have gone 0-27. So
it's doubtful.
So anyway, you're doing okay. But by the way, your boys at 45-32. I mean, I'm at a 584 winning clip here. Not terrible. Not terrible. Whatever.
Yeah, look, I don't like the zeros one bit.
Take that up with Paul O'Neill. I didn't tell him to do it.
Yeah.
You take that up with Paul O'Neill.
Yep.
By the way, shout out to Kaylin Chio and Lexi Zeiss. LSU, elite, awesome LSU gymnasts, and great young people as well. They were on the Our Lady of the Lake trip with us. I see you got your FMOL shirt on today. A big shout out to our friends at Our Lady of the Lake, championship health partner of LSU Athletics, great partners of ours here on AFR as well. They sponsored our trip last week, our show last week in Nashville, and they've done so many NIL deals, which is, of course, as a championship health partner, not only are they responsible for caring for the student athletes and the students and everyday partners like you and me, everyday champions like you and me, meaning you, the audience, not Terry, but yes, but Terry, all of us.
Yeah, you're a champ. We're champion. You're a champion.
But that's their verbiage as a championship health partner. But they've done tons of NIL deals. Garrett Nussmeier, Bauer Sharp, Jack Pyburn, Harold Perkins. Well, also Lexi Zeiss, Kaylin Chio were two of the LSU gymnasts that are part of their NIL deal roster as well at Our Lady of the Lake. So they were our pickers a week ago, and they both went 4-4.
Okay.
Again, I don't know why we only did 8 games. I can't believe I had a brain fart and we didn't get to 10, but they went 4-4 on their picks. So, all right, hit the music if you would, Muse. We'll get through it. 10 games here, and maybe this is a good point in the season where we can say, all right, let's see how it goes heretofore, you against me, since you've worn the collar 3 times.
Yeah, I'd be okay with that if you wanted to just kind of press the reset button.
No, we're not pressing the reset button. Okay. We'll just see how it goes as well.
Okay, that's fine.
Heretofore.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting what your number would be sans the 3 offers, but like I said, you can't just assume wins.
Nah.
So that's why that's where the problem is.
Yeah, I mean, probably the best thing to do would just be to kind of go okay, you won the first half. Let's do the second half and see how that goes.
Maybe we'll do that. All right, let's start with Ole Miss at Oklahoma. Mm-hmm. Ole Miss took their first loss of the season last week at Georgia. Now they got to go back on the road against the Sooners. Who you like?
I like Ole Miss. Bounce back, big win over there in Norman.
I am going Oklahoma. I think Ole Miss got exposed for what they are. They're a good offensive team. They're going against what I think is the best defense in the SEC, and Ole Miss's defense is poo-poo, as we've continued to see. And the fact that LSU couldn't score against them was the biggest red flag I've seen so far this year. Oklahoma, John Mateer getting healthier at home. Oklahoma all day, big win. Ole Miss back-to-back losses. South Florida at Memphis. Before you roll your eyes, these are 2 teams that are competing for the top of the American, and one of these very likely is going to end up in the college football playoff. It's at Memphis.
South Florida at Memphis. I don't know. Who's better? Who's better here?
They're both 6-1. South Florida beat Florida. Memphis beat Arkansas. 2 SEC teams that fired their coaches.
Give me South Florida.
I'm going to take South Florida as well. It's at Memphis. Phil Steele, if you miss it in the first hour, liked Memphis in this game, getting 6.5 at home. I think he liked them to win outright as well. I do not. I've been very impressed with South Florida. I like South Florida on the road to win. The Infidelity Bowl, Auburn at Arkansas. Hugh Freeze against Bobby Petrino.
Give me Arkansas here in this one. I
agree. One of the best offenses in the country. Auburn, their defense is awful at Arkansas, but Auburn has been unable to move the football. Bobby Petrino is a really good coach, and if he has a chance to stick it to Hugh Freeze and put the final nail in that coffin, he'll do it. I like Arkansas as well. Bama at South Carolina. Any chance of a letdown here? Bama 4 straight ranked opponents. Now they got to go on the road to sleepy South Carolina.
No, I don't think so. I think we're going to see. Bama win this one, bud.
I'm with you on Bama as well, but I'll say today what I said week 1 when we sat right here. When I said, don't you go losing to Florida State.
Okay.
Look, I don't think it's going to happen, but don't you go losing to Florida State now. Because here's the thing about Kalen DeBose. He's been good as a favorite.
Okay.
I'm sorry, against ranked teams. He has faced 3 unranked teams as a double-digit favorite and lost outright.
Oh.
Double-digit favorite on the road this week against an unranked team. I'm just saying. Look, South Carolina ain't good. But Lenore Sellers.
Oh, come on. No.
I'm picking Bama.
Okay.
I'm just saying.
All right.
Don't you go losing that game. Don't give me a reason to play 0 Fortuna on Monday. I mean, I really wish you would give me a reason to play 0 Fortuna on Monday. But you don't give me a reason. Missouri at Vanderbilt. College game days there, by the way. How weird is that?
Yeah, that's real weird. Give me Vandy here.
I agree. Give me Vandy. I think Missouri's a fraud. Bo Prabula is not very good. Vandy is a legitimate team, and they're a line of scrimmage team as well. I don't think Bo Prabula is good. He's been exposed. So, yes, give me Vanderbilt at home. No letdown there for the Commodores. BYU at Iowa State. Big 12 is wide open. Undefeated BYU at 2-loss Iowa State. Iowa State, actually, despite being an unranked team, is a small favorite over BYU.
What's BYU's record?
BYU's undefeated. They're 7-0 and they're ranked. Iowa State's had a lot of injuries this year, and they're unranked and they've lost a couple times. They're down their 2 starting corners in this game. BYU is, I'm trying to find, forgive me, I'm trying to get the ranking.
They're good.
But they're undefeated.
Yeah.
BYU's undefeated.
Yeah, give me BYU here.
BYU's had a couple of close calls the last few weeks. I had Utah last week to be. I keep betting against BYU. I had Arizona 2 weeks ago. BYU was down 10 and came back in the last 5 minutes of the game to force overtime, won it in overtime. I had Utah last week. Utah kept throwing up on themselves in the red zone. I'm going to keep putting my hand on that stove. I'm going against BYU again. Give me Iowa State with the outright win. Illinois at Washington.
Give me the Illini here.
I'm with you. Forgive me. I'm taking Washington at home. Give me Jetfish Washington at home to win that game. Baylor at Cincinnati, another one. Cincinnati's team that's undefeated in their conference right now. 6-1, 4-0 in the Big 12. Baylor, kind of a disappointing record at 4-3, 2-2, but a team that may be better than their record shows.
Dude, I like Cincinnati. I'm going to go with Cincinnati right here. They got some freaks on that defensive line. Give me Cincinnati.
I'm going to go Baylor only because I think part of the reason Baylor's record is what it is because they played a tougher schedule. So I'm going to go Baylor on the road. Not super confident about it, but I'm going to go Baylor on the road to win this game. Houston at Arizona State. That's another giant one in the Big 12.
Yeah, I gotta go with the home team here. I think it's two good teams. I don't know. Maybe Houston. Houston's got a better quarterback. Give me ASU.
Yeah, Sam Levitt's back. Big win last week. The only question really is the letdown effect. They beat undefeated Texas Tech last week. Is this the field storm fade? Do you have a little bit of a letdown? Because they're at home, I'm going to go Arizona State again this week to beat Houston. And finally, LSU, Texas A&M.
Give me the Tigers in this one. What was my pick earlier? I think it was 27-24.
All right, 27-24. You're such a homer.
I'm the biggest homer. I really am.
I'll give you my pick at the bottom of the hour when we do our full segment previewing and predicting the game for LSU and Texas A&M. It's after further review. We are here live from Don Juan Cigar Bar. Glad to have you hanging out with us here. We are brought to you by South Point Volkswagen and SouthPointVW.com. New and certified pre-owned in Baton Rouge and online at SouthPointVW.com. SouthPointVW.com. Had a guy message me, like DM me on Facebook or something like that. Was like, hey, I know you used to talk about South Point Volkswagen. Wife and I are considering buying a towels. It's like, not used to. Still do. Have since forever.
Since the beginning.
Since the beginning of time.
Yes.
As far as the show is concerned in any event. Yeah, and look, go outside the front right there. Black Volkswagen Atlas Crossport. It's mine.
Yep.
Come to my house, white Volkswagen Atlas on the left side of the garage. That's Erica. We're a Volkswagen family. Drive a Volkswagen once and you'll understand it. So go test drive Airline just north of Highland. Shop them online to see the entire inventory at SouthPointVW.com. SouthPointVW.com. South Point Volkswagen. What's your direction? All right, y'all, it is after further review. Thanks for hanging out with us here on this Football Friday edition. Theriot's here. Alondra's here. Muse, Paulie are back in studio. Love coming to Don Juan here on these Football Fridays. We are presented today by Pinhook Bourbon. Learn more at pinhookbourbon.com. Pinhookbourbon.com. You can learn about their vertical series. Not the horizontal series, the vertical series.
Tell me about it.
Same mash bills, same ingredients, but it's just every year they have a different age release, right? So it's the same juice that's just been aged another year. And every year they release a portion of their allocation. Okay. Like the 8-year, the 9-year, the 10-year, every year subsequent. So it'll be released through 2032, I think. So it'll be the 16-year, and that'll be the end of the vertical series. But you find it, grab it. It's awesome. It's pinhookbourbon.com. All right, it's after further review. Let's not get a break. We'll come back. We'll pick Saints. We'll give you a preview and prediction on Saints, Bucs, two teams that have had very uneven starts or very polar opposite starts to this season. But Saints getting healthy, Bucs very, very injured. How much might that play a factor Sunday in the Dome? We'll talk about it when we come back. Stay with us here. It's AFR.
AFR.
I love telling you about our friends over at Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness because the thing that they do, the intention of that business is to help you feel better, whatever that may be. Hormone replacement therapy is a massive part of what they do. If you've never had your blood labs drawn, if you've heard people talk about HRT, and you just want to learn more, it starts with a consult. I'm going to tell you exactly what happens. You're going to go in, they're going to draw your blood labs, they're going to run your labs, and they're going to tell you your hormone levels, your testosterone, your growth hormone, all these different levels. And then they can devise a plan to see if they can safely and affordably supplement you to healthy levels. And that will help in so many different ways. How you feel, your waking energy, your mood, your libido, all your ability to burn fat, build muscle, all these different things to how you feel. But it starts with that consultation. So log on to yourgoodwood.com.
After Further Review with Matt Moscona, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar.
Yeah, ton of respect for Baker's journey. To go have success in Cleveland, have to navigate some things through a couple years there, going to a couple other spots, and then coming out on top in Tampa and playing just phenomenal football. Again, he's playing as well as anyone in this league. His confidence, his swagger, his decisiveness, it shows up each and every week. His ability to make big plays, and they've won a bunch of games down the stretch because the ball's in his hands, and that's all the credit you can ask for from a quarterback.
Kellen Moore talking about Bucs quarterback Baker Mayfield, who before last week was likely the front runner for the MVP. Monday Night Football, the Bucs get smashed by the Lions 24-9. Mahomes has been Mahomesian of late, and so maybe you've seen that flip a little bit. But what Kellen Moore said there is right about this Tampa Bay team. They have found a way to win games. They beat the Falcons 23-20 in Week 1. They beat the Texans 20-19 in Week 2, both those games on the road. They come home against the Jets and find a way 29-27. They lost a close game at the Eagles, but then they went to Seattle, won 38-35, and they put it on San Francisco 30-19. They started 5-1 before losing on Monday Night Football in Detroit against a really good Detroit team and a defense led by former Tiger Kelvin Shepherd on Monday, which is one of the really interesting things. And you have talked about this for years, for as long as I've known you. Probably the thing that's maybe the most understated or underrated factor that people don't talk about with professional athletes is travel. Yeah. Now, I know in baseball, there's way more games and everything, but look at this week. Tampa plays on Monday night in Detroit. They lose that game 24-9. They fly home late Monday night to Tampa, right? Tuesday's an off day. Wednesday they don't practice because it's just a walkthrough at that point because they played the day, everything's set back a day. So they practice Thursday, they practice Friday. They're going to fly to New Orleans on Saturday and then play a game on Sunday. Yeah. I mean, it's a quick turnaround, a short weekend. They got 17 guys on the injury report. There's no Mike Evans, who will be lost to the end of the season. There's no Chris Godwin. Hassan Reddick, their best edge rusher, is out for this game. And Vita Vea, their zero technique nose tackle, who's an awesome player, who's a Pro Bowl player, was injured in practice this week with a foot injury. He ended up not practicing Thursday, Friday, and he's questionable for the game on Sunday. So it's one of those things where the quick turnaround and the injuries that have bitten Tampa make them look not quite like the team that was finding a way to win so many games early in the season when, as you heard Kellen Moore say, they found a way with Baker. Yeah.
Look, the travel absolutely plays a major role in this thing. Pro athletes in general are creatures of habit. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. You'll find yourself eating the same meals, wearing the same outfits, obviously not on consecutive days, but in the superstition of repetitiveness is a real thing. And so anytime in travel you get thrown off a little bit, it makes it difficult. I'll say this, though, we can talk about the injuries and all that all you want, but I mean, Baker Mayfield is just on a whole nother level since putting that uniform on.
He's playing awesome, man.
And I always have to go with the quarterback, man, and the guy that just, you say, finds a way to win. It's not the Bucs finding a way. It's Baker Mayfield finding a way to win, playing off point pretty much the entire game. And so, man, I don't have a whole lot of hope there for that one.
So whenever I'm undecided on a game, I look at three things. I look at quarterback, coach, and venue. I'm not undecided on this game, by the way, but quarterback, you're right. Baker clearly over Spencer Rattler at this point. I mean, we were just talking about how Baker up until this week was getting lead MVP love.
Yeah.
Coach, it's hard to go against Todd Bowles. I mean, Kellen Moore is a first-year head coach who's 1-6 out the gate. Todd Bowles, they've won the division the last 2 years. And in this game a year ago, Todd Bowles twice made life hell for Spencer Rattler. And you look at the venue, this is the game, this is in the Dome, but the Saints so far this year at home are 1-3, and last year in the Dome they were 3-6. That means they're 4-9. They're 4-9 in their last 13 in the Dome. I mean, it's just it's not what in the Saints' heyday, the Dome was as tough a place for anybody to play in the league. The Saints were rocking. The place was bonkers. It's loud. It's indoors. All the noise bouncing around. It's just not that anymore. So much of that is the crowd feeding off the team and the team feeding off the crowd. And when you're not very good, a lot of that goes by the wayside. And one more point as well, just speaking of Rattler played both games against Tampa a year ago. And in the first half of the game in the Dome, the Saints got down, and then they put up a 27-point second quarter behind Rattler. At halftime, Todd Bowles says, bleep this, we're just blitzing the hell out of you. And the second half was miserable, and the Saints ended up losing 51-27. Saints get shut out in the second half, and that Tampa defense just crushed Rattler. He ended up 22 of 40 for 243, a touchdown, and 2 interceptions. And then in the game in Tampa, the Saints only scored 19 points, and it was a repeat. He was 26 of 42 for 240, a touchdown. So he protected the football better. But again, the inability to run the football, having to throw 40-plus times, it's not a recipe for success against Todd Bowles' defense, which has had a lot of success against this quarterback in particular in the 2 games that they faced him a year ago. Tampa's just a better team.
Tampa's a good team. Tampa's a better team for sure. And the Saints are not very good. I mean, let's be honest. You mentioned them getting healthy. Who's getting healthy?
Well, you look at the injury report, and you've lost Eric McCoy, and you've lost Kendre Miller for the season. But everybody else on the injury report is available. Devon Gottschall had a rest day, but Juwan Johnson, Alvin Kamara, Chris Olave, Chase Young are the others listed. They all practice, and they're all going to play. So you don't have anybody who's questionable or out for this game other than the season-ending injuries to McCoy and Miller. But you look at Tampa, they got 17 dudes on their injury report. Like I mentioned, Chris Godwin's out, Luke Haggard's out, Bucky Irving's out, Hassan Reddick is out, and then Vita Vea is questionable for this football game. So your top 2 receivers are out, although Emeka Egbuka has been awesome. Your lead running back, Bucky Irving, is out. Your best pass rusher, Hassan Reddick, is out. Vita Vea is questionable. So that's
reading that
that's
report.
Not nothing.
I'm reading that report. Teddy Bridgewater's out teeth. So what we got? He got a new grill?
Guy needs to make sure he's flossing.
Wow.
I don't know what's going on with Teddy.
Damn.
Maybe had a root canal or something. I don't know. But yeah, Teddy missed practice this week with teeth. He's got teeth.
Missed practice with teeth. Okay.
Yeah, missed practice with teeth. So what do you think?
I think the Bucs are going to win. It's the first time picking against the Saints this year, but
That's
I'm
not
off.
True.
I'm off the Saints train.
I think you picked against them when they played the Giants when I picked them to win.
Yeah, that's right. Who are you picking?
So, for what it's worth, not that this has been super hard, I've hit every game for the Saints so far this year. The only game I picked them to win was the Giants, and they won that game at home. So I've had a really good finger on the pulse with this team. I don't think it's been particularly hard because a lot of this has been the Saints being a not very good team, playing teams that are just flat better than them. I think this is a game that's very similar to the games we've seen the Saints play in the Dome already this year. They have been better at home. The Saints have played closer games at home. They've been blown out on the road. All 3 road games, they've lost by double digits at Seattle, at Buffalo, and then last week in Chicago. They just have not been able to take it on the road and perform well. At home, they've been in position to win all of their games at home. They've been in position to win all of them. They've had opportunities. But when you're not a good team, you don't capitalize on those opportunities. And the Saints are not a good team. And I'm not criticizing Spencer Rattler as the reason the Saints are 1-6, but the point that I've made about Rattler is he's not at a point where he's capable of elevating the team.
Yeah.
Like what you just said about Baker late in games making plays. They played San Francisco 2 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, and there was a play right before halftime where Baker does this Houdini thing on a 3rd and long, and he avoids the sack, he breaks out of a tackle, he runs for the first down, and the next play, boom, Tez gets a deep ball down the middle, and just a fingertip grab on the nose of the football, and it's like a lesser player has taken the sack. Yeah. Baker keeps the drive going, then boom, drops a dime, and they score, and it's like those are the types of differentiators that Baker Mayfield is making for this team and that Spencer Rattler hasn't made. Again, I don't think Rattler's costing the Saints games, but he's not elevating a team that needs someone that can elevate them. Like those Drew Brees teams, the back-to-back-to-back 7 and 9 teams in 14, 15, 16, those were terrible defensive teams that were void of talent largely on offense outside of Drew. But they were 7 and 9 because they had a Hall of Fame quarterback. If they had a lesser player, those are 2-3 win teams picking in the top 5 of the draft. Mm-hmm. But he elevated them. And then, of course, they hit in the 17 draft and they went on that second great run. That's what Rattler's not capable of doing right now. And I don't think even with an injured Tampa Bay team, I don't think he's capable of doing it. I also think the other part of this weekend is, and you can say this is funny or whatever, but Mike D gave us this betting angle years ago where teams that lose their starting center fail to cover the spread the next week 80% of the time. And Eric McCoy was injured, so they're going into this game without their starting center, new starting center, Luke Fortner. So I think the Vita Vea injury is very significant. If Fortner has to mess with Vita Vea, and that dude is just bum rushing, if he's available, he's bum rushing Luke Fortner right into Spencer Rattler's face the whole game. Like, that's a real problem for the Saints offense. Plus, I don't think the Saints are very good at running the football. They're not very good at running the football, just when you look at them right now, or doing much of anything offensively. The Saints they're 24th in passing, they're 22nd in rushing, they're 29th in scoring. Like, the Saints offense isn't very good. And then defensively, they allow nearly 27 points a game, which is 27th in the NFL. They're not a good team. And oh, by the way, Blake Grupe stinks. He just keeps missing kicks. So when you've had opportunities to get points, your kicker isn't converting. There's just no reason for me to pick New Orleans other than you'd say, well, the home team, division game, you're familiar with the opponent. I can't get there in this game with New Orleans. I do think it's one of those where the Saints probably in the fourth quarter or in a one-possession game and have a chance to make a play to win it. I just don't trust that they're going to do it where Baker has. So give me the Bucs 25-20 to win this game and drop the Saints to 1-7 on the season. You want to throw a score? You don't have to.
Nah, I mean, I think the Bucs are going to win.
All right. And by the way, after this, the Saints go at the Rams, at the Panthers. And like I said, every road game they've lost this year has been by double digits. And your next two are on the road after this. So I think you're looking at going into your bye 1-9. I think you're going to lose the next 3 weeks. You're going to be 1-9 going into your bye. And I'll be curious if that's the time when maybe they look at making a change and we see Tyler Shuck. Because like we keep saying, eventually you're going to have to learn what you have in Shuck to know if you're going into the draft in April looking for a quarterback in the top 5. You're going to have to play him at some point. I'm not saying it's today. I'm not saying or this weekend or in the next. But at some point, you're going to have to play him to see what it looks like against NFL defenses. Yeah. And with every loss, you're getting closer. You're getting closer to that. All right, it is After Further Review. We're glad you're hanging out with us here on a Friday edition of AFR from Don Juan Cigar Bar, presented by Pinhook Bourbon. We are brought to you by First South Farm Credit. Have you? What was your experience like when you called First South Farm Credit? Because you did. You talked to Tim, didn't you? Yeah,
I did.
I know you keep talking about buying your own. You've told me where the land is you want to buy, but what was that experience like when you called Tim?
I learned a lot because there's a lot of misconceptions on buying land and how they work with how the financing works with your regular bank, and there was a lot of points that I didn't know. So I think making the call was super important for me, and then from a planning standpoint, like how that relationship goes with either my current bank and then you know, the seller. It was interesting, and I'll tell you, without that call, I would still have those questions.
First South Farm Credit, make that call today. If it's 1,000 acres for agriculture, you want to buy your recreational property, your hunting property, or you want 100 acres to build your family's dream home, First South Farm Credit can make it happen. FirstSouthLand.com. FirstSouthLand.com. All right, y'all, rolling along here. About half an hour to go from Don Juan Cigar Bar. When we come back, we'll give you a pick on LSU, Texas A&M, and then we'll wrap up the show with Ask Ryan. So we're glad you're hanging out with us here. Don't you move. It's AFR.
AFR.
You own a business?
Who, me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you hire people?
I do.
Do you screw up sometimes when you hire them?
From time to time.
Hire the wrong people?
From time to time, that happens, yep.
And then what happens to your business?
Business suffers when that happens.
You're just not as efficient? Not as profitable?
Yeah, not as efficient, profitable. The culture. It's not fun to go to work when it's not the right fit.
So, even someone who hires people seemingly a lot, what if there was a company that literally interviewed 50 people a day? Like, that's what they did. 15,000 interviews over the year. It's a lot.
Yeah.
You'd be pretty good at that, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's Glow Resources. That's what they do. They cast their net to find the best permanent solution for your business, no matter what role that is in your business, no matter what business it is. They're experts at finding the right people for your business. So check them out at glowresources.com.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar.
Yeah, they're playing well. You know, they're undefeated. And I think I've said this many times. What I'm impressed with them is how they've won, right? They've won by scoring more, playing great defense. And, you know, that's a testament that they've been able to play complementary football, right? When their offense might be struggling, the defense picks it up, and vice versa. And that's a mark of a team that should be ranked where it is.
Brian Kelly getting set to welcome in the Texas A&M Aggies to Tiger Stadium. And I know we've talked about it plenty, but LSU had an opportunity last week had they beaten Vanderbilt to create an epic night atmosphere in Tiger Stadium. Had LSU beaten Vanderbilt, and they were sitting here at 6-1 with so much on the line, an undefeated third-ranked Texas A&M team coming into Baton Rouge. It would have been an epic fever pitch environment this week in Baton Rouge building up to this game. And it is still Saturday night in Tiger Stadium, but the loss has created so much negativity around the team and the program this week. People calling for Brian Kelly and the future of the program and all that sort of stuff. And similarly now, you've also got the threat of weather Saturday night, which is pushing some people even further away, the possibility of maybe it not being a full crowd or a great crowd Saturday night. The game is a sellout, but this is one of those where we've talked plenty this week about the magic or the mystique or the aura of Tiger Stadium and why it's so hard for teams to come into Baton Rouge and win at night in Death Valley. And you wonder, is some of that compromised because of the general malaise around the fan base after the loss last week and the threat of weather in Baton Rouge? Those are excuses, but it's also potential just legit reasons why it may be what it may be. I hope sincerely, look, I'm not going to be there. I'm going to watch at home, and I'm going to take notes. I chart the game like I always do, and I'm going to do a post-game show. And you know, I will never, ever criticize fans for showing up late, leaving early, no showing at all. It's your time. It's your disposable income. You do with it what you want. I'm never going to criticize you for anything because I wouldn't want someone telling me what to do with my time or my money. So I'm not the guy that's ever going to sit here and point the finger at a fan. I hope it's a great atmosphere because I do think this is one of those games where the crowd can have an impact and affect a game that is probably going to be way more competitive than most people would think on its face, with third-ranked Texas A&M 7-0 coming into Baton Rouge against 5-2 LSU that has really struggled to get going offensively this season, and for a lot of reasons. Do you have a thought on the game on its face?
No, I mean, look, like you said, it looks like it should be a pretty lopsided game. LSU's not playing great. You've got your best player on defense that's out. The offense.
People have said that. I want to correct that because the best player on defense is Mansour Delane. It's not Whit Weeks. Weeks coming into the season, we were all very high on him. Mansour Delane is your best player on defense, and he is very much healthy, and I think he's very much going to have an impact on this game.
You got your second best player on defense out. The offense has no identity. The offensive line is not playing great right now, but. For all of those reasons, it's going to be Saturday night in Death Valley. It's going to be raining. It's going to be crazy weather. We've seen crazy things happen. And also, let me just say, LSU's got good players still. Like, they have game-breaker good players. They can be a good team. We haven't seen them play well. So it's not going to be a surprise that it's going to be a close game, and I wouldn't be shocked at all if LSU wins this game.
We've seen a lot has been made this week of A&M not winning in Baton Rouge since '94. The caveat, of course, is they won here in '94, and then they didn't play in Baton Rouge again until 2013. So it was nearly 20 years between those appearances. But since entering the SEC, A&M has not won in Baton Rouge. They're 0-6, and there's a reason for that. We've seen this A&M program over the decade plus that they've been in the SEC, and they've not been a very good line of scrimmage team. This is a good line of scrimmage Texas A&M team. on both the offensive and defensive lines. And when you look at the game statistically, there's nowhere that LSU has an advantage. Scoring offense, elite SEC ranks. You don't need to memorize this. Just for instance, scoring offense, SEC ranks. A&M 5th with 31.5 points a game. LSU 10th, 20 points per game. Offensive yards, A&M 6th, LSU 10th. Scoring defense, LSU and A&M are 3 and 4 respectively. Total defensive yards, A&M 2, LSU 12. Rushing offense, A&M 2, LSU 12. Rushing defense, A&M 7, LSU 12. Passing defense, LSU's really good there. LSU 6th, A&M's 4th. I mean, you go up third down defense. A&M 6th, LSU 15th. That was third down offense. Third down defense, A&M's 1st or 2nd in the nation. They allow teams to convert at a 14% clip. LSU's 8th. Sacks, A&M's 1, LSU's 9. I mean, you look at it, and there's nowhere that LSU has a decided advantage. Now, there's a good-on-good matchup with A&M's receivers and LSU secondary. LSU secondary is awesome with Monster Delane, DJ Pickett, P.J. Woodland, A.J. Halsey, Tamarcus Cooley. The secondary has been awesome. And I think what LSU is going to do in this game is they're going to commit to stopping the run against a big physical offensive line and a good running back in Reuben Owens and a quarterback in Marcel Reed that can run the ball. They're going to try to commit to stop the run and make Marcel Reed throw them to win, throw the ball to beat them. And if LSU secondary can hold up, then I think LSU got a great chance of making this a really competitive ball game. And we can look at the yardage LSU gave up last week against Vanderbilt, and that's concerning. But the two really good offenses that you faced this year are Ole Miss and Vanderbilt. You say, well, both those put up a bunch of, they moved the football.
Yep.
But Ole Miss on their home field scored 24 points. It was 24-19.
Yeah.
It's not like it was a score fest. And it wasn't until the final 5 minutes of the first half that Ole Miss finally got on the board with the touchdown. And you shut them out in the fourth quarter as well, by the way. Same with Vanderbilt. You shut out Vanderbilt in the fourth quarter. You gave your offense chances to get back in it and win the football game. Vanderbilt scored 31 in that game. So it's not, which is the season high that an opponent scored against you. So the defense has given up yards, but they're still third in the conference at just 18 points a game. This is also a Texas A&M team that, as we've talked about, I believe still has a lot to prove. They're 7-0. They're 4-0 in the league. But their league wins are against Auburn, who's winless in the conference. They beat Arkansas, who's winless in the conference. Mississippi State, who's winless in the conference. And then Florida, who's 2-2 in the SEC, but lost to South Florida and fired their coach.
Right.
The good win is the road win against Notre Dame, where they gave up 40 points and needed an 86-yard touchdown and a score with 13 seconds left to win it. Now, they get credit for that. It's amazing. They got an 86-yard touchdown. They scored with 13 seconds to win.
That's the only ranked team?
Only ranked team they played all year. So you wonder why the line is what it is. That's why. I mean, there's the metrics don't speak to and then they played Auburn, who's not very good, and that was at Kyle Field. And they won that game 16-10. Mm-hmm. They put up 16 points on Auburn. So it's not like this has been a machine of an offense that's been unstoppable. And then we've seen defensively, they gave up 40 to Notre Dame. They gave up 42 last week to Arkansas. LSU's not a good offense. And I don't think LSU's scoring 40 in this football game. But you can look at these instances where UTSA scored 24, Utah State scored 22 on them as well. So there have been these moments. And then in the Mississippi State game that they won 31-9, that game, State was winning that game 3-0 until A&M scored with a minute 51 to play in the first half. A&M on their home field was being shut out in the first half by Mississippi State until they scored with a minute 51 to play in the first half. So and then they ran away with it in the second half. A&M ended up with a 17-point third quarter that really gave them their separation. But it was 14-3 going into the fourth quarter.
This is A&M's year. Look at that schedule that you just showed.
I know.
They don't play anybody.
That's the point. Is that and they were at home for the chunk of the first half of the season, except for their game at Notre Dame.
Wow.
Now they played at Arkansas. And they go to LSU, but 3 of their last 5 are road conference games against ranked teams, at LSU, at Missouri, and at Texas. So they're going to have some challenges, but they avoid Bama and they avoid Georgia and they avoid some of the tough games in the conference. So it is set up for them.
Yeah.
But they're about to go into the gauntlet that's the toughest stretch. And one of the things that I always point out, it is very hard to win back-to-back road conference games, which is what A&M is trying to do. They've done that once since they joined the league, and it was the first year they were in the league with Johnny Manziel in 2012. They actually won 3 straight road conference games. So I believe A&M has a lot of questions they still have to answer if they're going to be a contender. But the question for this weekend is A&M capable of coming to Baton Rouge and winning? And I believe A&M through 7 games has proven to be a more complete team.
Absolutely.
Both sides of the ball. I think LSU absolutely has a chance to win this football game. I just don't believe. I can't with sincerity tell you I believe the LSU offense is going to get going because we haven't seen it through 7 games. And until I see it, I can't predict it to happen. I said the same thing a week ago. I thought LSU would win, but I thought they would win a lower scoring game. Last week, LSU scored on 5 of their first 6 possessions, but they settled for 3 field goals because they can't finish drives. Is that going to change? If it does Saturday night in Tiger Stadium, then I think LSU will win. I just can't predict that to happen. So I'm going to pick A&M to win a lower scoring game than most may think. I'm going to pick A&M 27-20, but it's a game that I think is going to be a game in the fourth quarter where LSU is going to have a chance to go make a play like last year against Ole Miss to make a play to win it. We'll see if they can. I hope they can, but until I see them do it offensively, it's hard for me to pick them to do it.
I got the Tigers. Like I said, 27-24.
All right, you're going 27-24
Yep.
LSU. I'm going 27-20 A&M. All right, it's after further review. We're here at Don Juan Cigar Bar. We'll wrap up the show with Ask Ryan. Next, don't you move here. It's Football Friday edition of AFR from Don Juan Cigar Bar, presented by Pinhook Bourbon.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by River City's 1 Hour Air, where they're always on time.
Or you don't pay a dime.
752-0001, 752-0001, 752-0001. Have you had your preseason heater safety check yet? No, you haven't? Why not?
I don't know. I don't know if that... I may have. I might have.
You need to do it. Can you remember the last time you did it? Preseason heater safety check?
Yeah, they come every year.
Good. If you can't remember the last time you had your preseason heater safety check, then today is the day you're calling. Actually, this is the moment right now that you're calling. I want you to get your phone right now, and I want you to call 752-0001, 752-0001, 752-0001. Call right. You will talk right now to not to a computer, to an answering service. You will talk to a living, breathing human being that will get you scheduled for your preseason heater safety check. It'll extend the life of your heater. It'll make your heater more efficient during the cold weather months, and most importantly, keep your family safe. Preseason heater safety check, River City's 1 Hour Air.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar.
Down the stretch we come. Final segment here on a Football Friday edition of AFR, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar. We're live from Don Juan Cigar Bar and presented by Pinhook Bourbon. Big shout out again, man, to our friends at Pinhook Bourbon. If you've never grabbed a bottle of Pinhook Bourbon, do it. And one of the things I love about Pinhook too, it's one of those ones that I'll tell you is what I say often. Just because something's expensive doesn't mean it's good. Just because something's good doesn't mean it's expensive. That's Pinhook. You can find Pinhook at a totally reasonable price point. We're talking about less than $50. I mean, I don't have it in front of me, but I think the rye at retail is like $37, something like that. It's super approachable from a price standpoint. You can get it at local retailers. They don't have it. Ask for Pinhook Bourbon. You find it at your local watering holes as well. It's really fantastic. They're blenders. They're super creative. All their vintages are expressive. Check it out. And big hat tip, Sean Josephs, who's the master blender who lives in New Orleans. My buddy Joe Juba, who helped put this deal together, who works for Pinhook Bourbon. Couldn't be before we ever did this deal with Pinhook. Pinhook Rye and the Pinhook Bourbon, the green label and the orange label wax bottles are always on my bar. I always have a bottle of Pinhook. So highly, highly, highly recommend. 10 out of 10. Check it out. We appreciate Pinhook Bourbon. All right. Here we go. Wrap up with a little Ask Ryan. Get your questions in. Email us, tweet us, text us, 225-396-4400, 396-4400, 396-4400. Oh, look at this. No. It's Jerry. Oh, man. Michael Oops sent a picture. It's Jerry Sullivan doing some combine training. All right, Ray, Ask Ryan. Is Alondra as nice in person as she seems on air?
Yep. She sure is.
Shout out Alondra. Alondra's awesome. Ask Matt, I think Ryan should get the opposite of your picks on days he doesn't pick. I guess maybe. We'll figure that out. Craig asked Ryan, I'll be in the stand Thanksgiving week. Are you getting ready to take down some big bucks and Bambi? Your buddy Matt won't shoot him, but he will eat them. Got to hook him up.
He will. I need to get a little bit.
I'm not opposed to shooting him. I'm just not going to sit in a stand to shoot, sit all day and wait and shoot a deer. I don't like. That's not fun for me.
Yeah, I need to get a little bit cooler, but no, I'm excited. I'm getting excited. I'm starting to get there.
Corey, ask Ryan, what's your drink of choice on game day?
Just beer. Beer, probably.
Seth, ask Ryan, Dodgers in 4?
No, I don't think it'll be 4. I actually think the Blue Jays win tonight.
Okay. At home, game 1. Mm-hmm. Greg Lehman, ask Ryan. Man, That Pavia guy sure is a good quarterback, am I right?
Yep. He can really play. He can play, Greg.
He's pretty good, Greg.
Yep. He's a good football player.
Yeah.
Reminds me of Johnny Manziel.
Richard asked Ryan, if you could dictate this, would you make all MLB teams have an outdoor stadium or a dome? That's an interesting question.
Probably all dome, I would imagine.
Really?
Yeah. Why? I mean, it just takes the weather variable out of the whole thing, and rain delays are stupid. And
rain delays are stupid. That's true. Yeah. Why don't you just act like real men and get out there and play in the rain?
Yeah.
Dorks.
Yeah, just get struck by lightning. Just do it.
Whatever. It's a wooden bat. It's not a metal bat.
Yeah, you're not wearing spikes. You're good.
Whatever. Get out there and be a man in the rain, in the lightning, and the tornadic activity and whatnot.
Yep.
It's one of the reasons that there will never be a team in Louisiana. First of all, we'll never support another professional franchise.
No.
And then how in the world do you have a stadium in Louisiana? Like, it's a bajillion degrees and it rains every day.
It's a bajillion degrees and it rains.
You'd have to build like a multi-billion-dollar domed facility. It ain't happening. Never happened. All right, go Tigers. And who dat?
Yeah.
Thanks, Alondra. Moose Pauly back in studio. Thanks. Shout out Don Juan Cigar Bar and Pinhook Bourbon. See you Monday at 3.
After further review.
As we get on down the road, remind you about Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. Windows door siding. Oh, yeah, they do shutters as well. Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. Love telling you about Relief Windows. But not as much as the Therios, because, man, those Theriot kids love to fire a remote through a window or a baseball through a window. And then what does Relief Windows do when you do that?
They come out and they fix it for free.
Yeah, they do. That is a true lifetime transferable warranty. Lots of companies can say that they have a warranty, but have they been around long enough to prove that they offer you a lifetime transferable warranty? Relief Windows has. Windows door siding, they do shutters as well. And one of the really cool things about Relief Windows, if you go into their showroom on Airline in Prairieville, they have 3D modeling. So if you're like me and you're visual and you want to see what the windows, the doors, the siding would look like, instead of just looking at like one little, one little demo strip, see the whole thing in a 3D model, you can do it at Relief Windows. So check them out online at reliefwindows.com.